The mystery of the Titanic's lifeboats. A historical analysis. The sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912 remains one of history's most enduring maritime tragedies, and central to its devastating loss of life is the persistent mystery surrounding its lifeboats. While often presented as a simple lack of sufficient boats, a deeper historical analysis reveals a complex interplay of outdated regulations, prevailing assumptions about ship safety, and chaotic execution in the face of an unprecedented disaster. The numbers. A stark reality. At the time of its maiden voyage, the Titanic, designed to carry over 3,300 people, passengers and crew, was equipped with only 20 lifeboats. These included 14 standard wooden lifeboats, 2 smaller wooden cutters, and 4 collapsible canvas lifeboats. In total, these boats had a maximum capacity for 1,178 people. With approximately 2,208 people on board that fateful night, this meant that the lifeboats could accommodate just over half of those present, and roughly 1/3 of the ship's full capacity. The regulatory gap. Outdated laws for modern giants. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect of the Titanic's lifeboat provision was that it was entirely compliant with the maritime safety regulations of the era. The British Board of Trade Regulations, last updated in 1894, stipulated lifeboat requirements based on a ship's gross tonnage, not its passenger capacity. For ships over 10,000 tons, a minimum of 16 lifeboats with a combined capacity for 990 people was required. The Titanic, at over 46,000 tons, far exceeded this tonnage, and its 20 lifeboats actually surpassed the legal minimum. This regulatory loophole stemmed from a period when ships were considerably smaller and the concept of unsinkable was gaining traction due to advancements in shipbuilding, such as watertight compartments and stronger steel. There was a prevailing belief that large modern liners were their own best lifeboats, and that any lifeboats carried would primarily serve as shuttles to nearby rescue vessels in the unlikely event of a serious incident. Design choices and overconfidence. Beyond the regulations, design choices also played a role. While the Titanic's davits, the cranes used to lower lifeboats, were capable of handling up to 48 or even 64 lifeboats, the number was reduced to 20. This decision is often attributed to aesthetic concerns, as a deck cluttered with too many lifeboats was deemed unsightly for the luxurious liner. The White Star Line, confident in the ship's practically unsinkable reputation, prioritized passenger comfort and spacious decks. The chaos of the sinking. Half-filled boats and missed opportunities. When the inevitable struck, the inadequate number of lifeboats was tragically compounded by the chaotic and poorly executed evacuation. Many lifeboats were launched significantly under capacity, for a variety of reasons. Women and children first protocol. While well-intentioned, this order, combined with a lack of clear instructions and panic, meant that many boats left with empty seats while men, and even some women and children, remained on board. Fear of buckling. Crew members and even some passengers were apprehensive that the lifeboats, suspended high above the freezing ocean, would buckle under a full load. This was a misconception, as the boats had been tested and reinforced. Reluctance to leave the unsinkable ship. Initially, many passengers, especially those in first class, did not believe the Titanic was truly sinking and were reluctant to leave the relative warmth and safety of the ship for a small boat on the cold Atlantic. Lack of training. The crew had not received sufficient training in lifeboat loading and lowering procedures, leading to inefficiency and confusion. A planned lifeboat drill on the day of the sinking was even cancelled. Difficult access for third-class passengers. The labyrinthine layout of the third-class areas and the location of lifeboats primarily on the upper decks made it significantly harder for steerage passengers to reach the boats, contributing to their disproportionately higher casualties. The millionaire's boat. Lifeboat number 1, with a capacity of 65, left with only 12 people aboard, including 5 first-class passengers and 7 crew members, earning it the infamous moniker. Only 18 of the 20 lifeboats were successfully launched, with 2 collapsible boats washing off the deck as the ship sank. Tragically, only one lifeboat, Lifeboat number 4, returned to rescue survivors from the water, with others fearing being swamped by desperate swimmers. The legacy, a catalyst for change. The catastrophic loss of life on the Titanic, particularly the stark reality of insufficient lifeboat capacity, served as a profound wake-up call to the maritime world. 2 years after the disaster in 1914, the first International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SALAS, was adopted. This landmark treaty, still in effect today, though significantly amended, fundamentally changed maritime safety. Key reforms stemming from the Titanic tragedy include: enough lifeboats for everyone. SALAS mandated that all ships must carry enough lifeboat, or life raft, capacity for every person on board. Improved safety drills. Regular and thorough emergency drills became mandatory for both passengers and crew. Enhanced communication. Continuous radio watch became a requirement, leading to the standardization of distress signals and improved communication systems. International Ice Patrol. The formation of the International Ice Patrol was established to monitor icebergs in the North Atlantic. Improved ship design. Subsequent ship designs incorporated higher bulkheads and double hulls for increased safety. The mystery of the Titanic's lifeboats, while seemingly straightforward in its tragic outcome, reveals a complex historical narrative where technological hubris, outdated regulations, and human error converged to create an unparalleled disaster. Its legacy, however, is a testament to the hard-won lessons that continue to shape global maritime safety standards today.